Okay, first I'm say praise the glory, obviously, whole bash, Shabashim Kabadash, and the devil unto apostles, other and teachers, and mills of knowledge the truth, and unto Shalom to the whole full of Israel. And this is a topic that I've actually been seeing a couple different videos on, but just gonna go into true power, a little bit of the true power, and how what you see Esau, so-called white man, and you see the nations have. It's not true power. It's a watered down, false version of power. I say watered down because when you go into the scriptures, you have like acts like your apostles did, past prophets did, and then Yahushua did, where this is the best way I could say this. They all went straight to the source, with their power. And I said straight to the source. That, like, I know there's a better way to say it to where it makes more sense. But today, for example, when Yahushua healing people, right? There are instances where multiple instances where Yahushua would, he would just lay his hand on someone and they would be healed. He turned invisible. He showed holograms. And if I remember correctly, when you had Peter cut off the Roman's ear, Yahushua healed it. Like what his ear was cut off. If I'm remembering correctly, Yahushua, healed, reattached his ear. But that's why when I say go straight to the source, because we saw today, in a lot of things, you can be healed, but in other things, you be treated. For like example, you have Yahushua brought people back to life. Esau can't do shit like that, because that's true power. Healing people from terminal diseases and illnesses. When you really understand what diseases and sickness is, for which is pretty much demons plaguing your body. Yahushua he cast out those demons, thus end up healing that the person, whoever he did, of that sickness. You had King David, and different instances where you have warriors and leaders in Israel. It might be a small, like we might have had a smaller force compared to the enemy, but the Lord gave us power to put a boot up their ass. With Samson, which is one of my favorite things to mention, how you had one man take down 1,000 other men. Like these were actually trained. They weren't just like newbies that they were just given weapons and just say go at them. These are like men who are trained in battle, and 1,000 of them. And Samson took them down with a jawbone. When you watch UFC fights or boxing, after a few seconds of 'cause I think each round is like 60 seconds. Probably varies. Like I don't know. That may be like the universal time, but I don't really watch boxing. That much. But it ain't like it's not like maybe 3 minutes. I don't fucking know. But it's not like they give you 20 minutes in the ring from each round. But after a few seconds or a few minutes of boxing, you see boxers or fighters tired, sweating and shit. No, you have to go to the corners, get a drink of water, sit down, catch your breather. When you have, what and even going to how you see these guys, with reflexes, right? You have to focus. You have your focus. It takes like um, there's like Mike Tyson. He has little shorts, and there's he be talking about like how and he has to hype himself up before you get in the match, but he has to really get into the zone and focus because when he's going against this guy, and that's a 1-on-1, you know. And there's all these things you have to take in consideration when you're fighting someone as well, like trying to predict what their moves are going to be, because like you see people they'll dodge attacks. It may just be off a reflex, or it may just be like a prediction based on some type of movement that they in a muscle or something that they see. I don't fucking know the intricacies. I don't know the intricacies of it, but you multiply that times 1,000, you have all these, like, once again, there's that movie Samson, where you have all these niggas with swords just coming at you. Like in the movie Samson's one shot in them all, but like that's spiritual power to be able to to take in all that information and and move a certain way. He been like, I'm not sure if the scripture said, but he may have like gotten nicked here and there. I don't know. He may not have, but like either way, he couldn't have sustained that much damage, if any at all, in order to fully, in order to go through 1,000 men. But that's that power that the Lord, put on. That's true power. You see Esau trying to create super soldiers, trying to enhance their perception and whatnot. There's this movie called what was it, Bloodshot. You have other type of movies like this, but you have pretty much it was Vin Diesel, where he came back to life, and he was I think he died in an explosion or some shit. Oh no, he actually got his head blown off. But he was brought back to life with nanomachines. He was basically, he was a super soldier, and there's a few other people that are in a similar situation as him, right? They may have died, or they may have like had their legs blown off or some shit. But these are a few people that Esau pretty much integrated the technology into, in order to make them I don't want to say superhuman, because they weren't really all that super, but in order to make them a little more superhuman. I guess Vin Diesel was superhuman, but you had a couple of other guys that had some some strength enhancements. But check out the movie. It's all right. The average superhero movie, but like the concepts in there, it's interesting. But that's what Esau wants to do, and like once again, that's why I say that that's false power, because as Israelites, we have the blessing of being able to tap into the source. We won't need to go through some. We don't need to build up a big ass machine, or like there's one guy who had some mechanical arms, extra arms. He had an interface, placed into him so his brain could react with these mechanical arms. But we don't need no shit like that. That's what I mean by tapping into the source. But that's that's also what I mean by Esau has false power. Our blessing is a true spiritual power. Power to like the scripture said that Yahweh did things, and he said we're gonna do things greater than what he did. When you go into all these superhero movies and comic books and whatnot, those are things that Esau wants to be able to do. He can't figure that shit out. For example, there's this show called Avatar: Last Airbender. You have a manipulation of like water, air, fire, lightning. When hell, like you see a lightning bolt from the sky, we're going to be able to do shit like that, believe it or not. There's no way in hell Esau can do. He can't begin to figure out how a human being can eject lightning, not electricity, but actual lightning from their body. Like you have an electric eel, which manipulates it's bioelectricity. But but like electricity has a superpower. But you have other animals that have superpower. There's I think it's called a pistol shrimp. You know, there's insects like a chameleon, right? Can blend in with his environments. And the cheetah being able, to run fast. Those I guess you could call those in a way, superpowers. But we're going to be able to do all those things. But Esau can't, like he has to use machines to aid him. That's why you have this whole thing with this whole what's that? I think it's called transhumanism merging man with machine. Because Esau had, he has to get a little bit of help. And even then his shit is still watered down. Like you have, I think there's, what's that shit called? It was Black something. But there's one little show where you had this she like a Jake, but she had a chip installed in her hand and she could use her hand as a cell phone, right? You have this whole thing with the chip being installed in your head, so you like you're thinking something and it will get typed down on your phone or whatnot. You're thinking something and the web page, you just go straight to it. We'll be able to think, like for example, telekinesis, moving things with your mind. We'll be able to think about you Edomites, I don't know, flying through a boulder or some shit, and it's gonna happen. You niggas can't do that. That's one of the things that we're going to get in the kingdom. Actual true power. Because like what you see, for example, guns and their bullets, right? You have to clean them. There's assembly. We ain't gonna need all that shit. We can have it if we want, but we ain't gonna need it. We're gonna be able to throw fireballs and icicles and shit. We're gonna be able to fly. Esau can fly, but wait a minute, he needs a helicopter or a jet or an airplane, or a fucking hot air balloon. That nigga can't figure out how to actually manipulate, the elements in existence. This Hebrews 11:3. And this whole, like, all these things that, Esau's, told us, was a good thing. Because, like, the Revelations mentioned how the whole world was going to wonder at the beast, And you niggas are retarded. That goes for you 2/3 and you heathens. Because, like, the thing that, like, once again, the thing that you're wondering at is false power. It's weak. It's nothing. When you like, is it impressive in this little time span? Sure, I guess. But when you actually take into account, how the kingdom, this is nothing. Like what? A storm will knock out your power, and you gotta wait a couple hours, a couple days, maybe a week, a couple weeks for some niggas, do what they gotta do and get it back up line. The whole power grid is vulnerable. We're not gonna have shit like that in the kingdom. It's not gonna be vulnerable. It's Hebrews 11:3. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Yahweh, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. And the things that we don't see are more powerful than things that we do see. And that's a concept that you have even here in Esau's kingdom. Right? For example, when you go into the bank and elites, right? They're not people that you just see online, not online, but they're not someone that just that they put their face out there like these retards, like these celebrities and these dumbass boxers. They be sitting down all this money, right? That's not where the power lies. Joe Biden isn't where the power of American and Esau's kingdom lies. It lies with those which you don't see. It's the same thing with the Lord. And like what we can see that the spirit realm, all that is infinitely more powerful than all this shit that we can see here. Once again, the true power doesn't lie with Esau. You get once you get your guns, you get your little training, your little martial art training. Not saying it's bad or anything, but what was the name? You asked Heliodorus how training helped when he got his ass tore up by those two angels. You ask all these heathen nations that got their asses ripped apart by angels how their training helped them. Against spiritual power. think it's somewhere in Second Esdras where it mentions no, maybe not Second Esdras. You have in multiple places where scriptures mention how you're gonna have strong men pretty much acting like women. These are like what you basically like a guy in the gym like a bench press a damn house. He's gonna be acting like a woman because of all when it's going into Jacob's trouble and all the shit that's gonna happen. You're gonna be crying like little girls. But you're gonna have the men of the Lord, the hopeful elect, laughing. That's spirit. That's spiritual power in itself. Being able to, like, because there's a different type of spirit that's put on you to be able to, see some shit like I don't know, like an android fucking, pull somebody's spine out, right in front of you, and everybody else, losing their shit, and you just sitting there laughing. You have Isaiah 33:6, where it mentions how wisdom and knowledge is going to be stability of our times. And what? Knowledge is power, In Joshua 23:10. 8. But cleave not to the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Ashai. Your power as ye have done. Do I want to start there? Yeah, until this day. For the Lord hath driven out from before you great nations and strong, but as for you, no man hath been able to stand before you until this day. This is the point, verse 10. One man of you shall chase 1,000, for the Lord your power. He it is that fighteth for you as he hath promised you. And one is gonna chase 1,000. In other words, you're gonna have those may be literal numbers, they may not be. But in other words, you're gonna have one Israelite man. You're gonna have like a ton of niggas running away, turning tail, and there's like man chasing after him. Ain't like you're literally gonna have that when when spiritual power comes down and these stormtroopers see that their weapons aren't working against you. When they see you I don't know, teleport behind the nigga and when baseball swing his damn head off, what do you think they're gonna do when they realize that their guns aren't working? Them niggas are gonna run. And the scripture mentioned how the Lord is going to be the one that fights for us. Why? Because the scripture is going to how the Lord is going to use us as battle axes and weapons. He's going to be he's not literally going to be picking us up and swinging us, but in the spirit, we're going to be swinging at these niggas. We're going to literally be turned into into weapons. Spiritual weapons. You go into superheroes like what? What's a superhero? Like Deadpool. That nigga is a weapon. I'm trying to think because I used to be into it, but I forgot. Like I just lost interest. I didn't lose interest, but I stopped looking into it. But Wolverine. That nigga was literally created to be a weapon when you go into his backstory and his history. But niggas like that, those are little weapons. Little walking, talking human weapons. That's what we start trying to do with the super soldiers, the androids, and that's what the Lord's gonna do with us. But the difference between us and them is that, we're gonna have the true power. Esau has to, once again, he has to have help from machines. What happens when the power goes out? What happens when you gotta recharge your batteries? This cord, you got to repair this cord because it's faulty. We ain't gonna need, we're not gonna be needing any repairs for faulty equipment. It's Daniel 7:18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom, possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. And the scripture said how the saints are going to take the kingdom. In other words, just like how you have men of war. What did they do with kingdoms and villages and shit. They took it. They kicked ass and they took control. It's the same thing that we're gonna do. The Lord's gonna let us do. We're gonna tear your asses in half, and we're gonna take rulership from you. This, America, Babylon the Great America, gonna be burned to the damn ground, but rulership is gonna be taken and given unto us. And it, like what when you take into account the amount, for example, the amount of power that Esau has right now, and I say, once again, his power is nothing, but it looks great now because we as Israelites and as gods have been weakened. And there's a scripture where it says, ye are gods, but ye shall die like men. A God doesn't die like a man unless he's been weakened into the estate of a man. And there's a scripture that mentions how the angels of God are in chains of darkness. What are those chains of darkness? These bodies, These bodies, they're restrictions. We know, what can the angel and the God do? Fly. In these bodies, we can't do that. They don't get tired. In these bodies, we get tired. They're chains. They're holding us back. They're holding us back from where we're supposed to be. Because you have prophets that were called, angels of the Lord, but what? They were in human bodies, They were in these weak bodies. They were chained, they were angels, gods chained down. But, like I mentioned, to us in these bodies, Esau part, like a gun, right? Like a gun could, we could slip on the banana peel and, and shatter our damn spine or some shit. Break our damn neck. But in order, when you weigh that up against, an android, that can punch a damn hole through you, the power does look great. The scripture says the Lord, how saints are going to take the kingdom. And how are we going to take the kingdom? We're going to get more power than what you niggas currently have. We're going to get the true power, spiritual power. The spiritual power is the one who created, the carnal power. So that's why, spiritual power is the true power. And I refer to, power that Esau has as false power. Because once again, Esau doesn't, the power that Esau has, it doesn't, command the sun to go up and to go down, and the rotation of the the night and day and the seasons. That's spiritual power that controls that. Spiritual power allows all things to continue, allows you to draw breath, allows controls certain animals, controls people, controls everything. Carnal power doesn't do that. Esau can't, like, what time? Esau can't make a machine that can have him fucking time travel. And then the things that he does have, the Lord gave that to him. He gave him certain knowledge of how to do certain things. But it's not like he gave him, like, knowledge of just how to think of fire, and just create a fireball or some shit. No, that nigga got he got to get the lighter. He got to rub two sticks together. But as Israelites, our blessing, is Yahweh Shema Shai, spiritual power. Esau's blessing was, this watered down version. A very, very much flooded, not watered down, but flooded down version of what we're gonna get. John 14:12, and this is probably going to be it. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. And Yahushua, he healed people, brought that girl back to life. He brought people back to life. And there's even things he did that we don't even know about. You know, that's he like there's a scripture that mentions how the amount of miracles that he did can't be contained in the books. You know, like I don't think it mentioned this book, or there's a certain amount of books that it couldn't be contained to. In other words, he did a shit ton of miracles. You know, stuff that we don't even know he did. Stuff that we probably can't even wrap our head around. And the scripture said that we're going to be able to do things greater than that. You know, like once again, walk on water. How the fuck do you walk on water? You know that's mind boggling. You know, but yeah, like I said, I just want to turn this around how Esau, what you see of Esau, his little kingdom, his guns, his little nukes. Like once again, these things look great to us because we've been weakened and brought down to to a lowly estate. But when we get back in our power, there's a scripture that refers to Esau and it says, is this the man that subdued the kingdoms or something like that? And people are going to be saying like, really, is this the cave nigga that really had the whole world under his foot? Why? Because he's going to be in his true state, which is the basest and lowest creature on the earth. But in the kingdom, we're going to be looking at Esau, recounting, for example, nuclear weapons and his guns, weighing them up against what we have, and we're going to be laughing because you can't compare. There's no comparison. Like once again, he has his little nukes, his little missiles and his little guns and his little weapons. The only reason they're effective against us is because we've been weakened. You niggas aren't like, that's the thing. Like scriptures mention we've been brought down to chains of darkness. You fuckers shouldn't get cocky because the only reason you have power over us is because we fucked up, and the scriptures say that. You niggas are like even when you go into how Jacob and Esau was born, it said one nation is going to be stronger than another, and the older shall serve the younger. It's just like we're the strongest people on this planet, especially we're a lot stronger than you Edomites. And the only reason you have your foot on our necks is because we've been weakened. And you niggas are cocky. That's funny. But and I'll say all praise, hope this edifying. I'll say all praise is glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem Ashab Bashem Gakodash. Give double honor to the apostle and teacher, great minister from our Lord, truth. Shalom to the whole collective Israel, instruction, Babylon, the great America.